All right, if you're in the world of SAP SD, you're in the right place. We're putting together a field guide for all those frustrating process-breaking errors that can turn a perfectly good sales cycle into a total nightmare. So let's just dive right in and start troubleshooting.
You know that feeling, right? The sales order looks flawless, the delivery's perfect, but the second you go to create that invoice or post to accounting, it all just falls apart. So why does this keep happening? Today, we're going to find out, and more importantly, we're going to arm you with the tools to fix it.
So here's the plan. First, we're going to tackle that critical link to finance. Then, we'll get into untangling some of those trickier special processes like third-party sales. From there, we'll see how something as simple as faulty master data can sabotage everything. And finally, we'll hunt down those technical gremlins that just stop you dead in your tracks.
Okay, let's kick things off right where it counts, the money. This is that crucial handoff from sales and distribution to finance. And believe me, it is ground zero for some of the most critical errors you will ever face.
So here's our first case file. You create a billing document, it looks great, it posts to accounting, but the revenue lands in a completely wrong general ledger account. So what happened? Well, 9 times out of 10, the culprit is hiding in plain sight in your VKOA settings.
So where do you even start looking? First, always check your master data. The account assignment groups on both the customer and the material, those are your primary keys. But here's the real secret weapon, the account determination analysis tool right inside the invoice. Instead of just guessing, it literally shows you the exact rule the system used, which pinpoints the source of the error instantly.
And listen, this is the hidden trap that gets everybody. A lot of systems have a general sort of catch-all VKOA entry. This means if a more specific rule is missing, the system doesn't error out. Nope, it just quietly posts to that general account, completely hiding the root cause. Finding that one missing specific rule is the key, and it will save you hours of searching.
All right, let's solve another really common mystery, the dreaded billing split. You expect one clean invoice for delivery, but suddenly the system spits out 2 or 3 or even more. The fundamental rule here is really simple. For items to live on the same invoice, their critical header fields must be identical. No exceptions.
So who are the usual suspects in this lineup? If the payer is different, or the payment terms, the Incoterms, the billing date, or even the destination country, if any of those are different across the items you're trying to bill, SAP is going to force the split. It has to. It's all about maintaining data integrity.
And look, please don't sit there guessing what the problem is. Just use the split analysis tool when you're creating the invoice. It's like an X-ray that immediately shows you the exact field with the mismatched data. It is an absolutely essential tool for your kit.
Okay, so standard orders are one beast, but things get really interesting when we dive into special processes. I'm talking about things like third-party sales and intercompany transfers. They bring their own unique and often complex failure points to the party.
You know, one thing that trips a lot of people up is the difference between a cross-company sale and an intercompany stock transfer. Let's break it down, real simple. The key is this. A cross-company sale involves a real external customer. You're just selling from another company's plant. An STO, on the other hand, is purely an internal stock movement. Confusing the two can cause some major reporting headaches down the line.
Okay, here is a classic third-party problem. You create and save the sales order, you're expecting it to automatically generate a purchase requisition for your vendor, and then crickets. Nothing happens. The very first place you should always look is the schedule line category.
So here is your absolute must-have checklist for this process. It all kicks off with the item category TA, and that automatically points to the schedule line category CS. It's that CS category that holds the magic instruction to create the purchase rec. And here's a key final point, you actually can't bill the customer until your vendor's invoice has been received and processed.
You know, you can have the most beautiful, perfect configuration in the world, but if your master data is a mess, well, it's all for nothing. This brings us right to that classic garbage in, garbage out problem.
Okay, this next one. This is maybe one of the most maddening problems you'll ever see. A fantastic customer, always pays on time, is suddenly blocked by a credit check. You look them up, their balance is 0, but the system thinks their credit is completely maxed out. This is almost always caused by phantom values that get stuck in the credit data tables. So how do you fix it? You need to be precise. First, yeah, it's always a good idea to double-check your rules in OVA 8 just to make sure it's not a simple config issue. But the real fix, the one for corrupted data, is the program RVKRED77. This essential report rebuilds that customer's credit exposure from scratch, and it just clears out all that phantom data.
Once that's done, you confirm the update group timing is correct, and boom, problem solved.
All right, let's quickly talk about two really powerful master data tools, listing and exclusion. Just think of listing as a whitelist. The customer can only buy what's on the list. And exclusion is a blacklist. They can buy anything except what's on that list. Both are incredibly useful for managing very specific business rules.
But, and this is a huge but, there's a massive trap here. If you activate the listing functionality for a customer, but then forget to actually add any materials to that list, well, you've just blocked them from buying anything at all. A tiny, tiny mistake with gigantic consequences.
All right, for our final section, let's move away from the functional side of things and talk about the technical gremlins that can bring everything to a screeching halt, especially when you're moving changes between systems.
Okay, you get that dreaded message from a user, I don't have authorization. What's your game plan? Your first step, every single time, is to have them immediately run transaction SU53. It will show you the last failed authorization check. If that doesn't give you the answer, then ST01, the system trace, is your deep dive tool. It gives you a complete log of every single check that was performed.
Now, I need you to listen to this next part very carefully. It might be the most important advice in this whole thing. It can be so tempting to go into technical tables like VBUK and VBUP and just manually change a document's status. Please do not do it. You are not fixing the problem. You are creating a data inconsistency that will come back to haunt you and your system for years to come.
This one. This is a rite of passage for pretty much every SD consultant out there. You build a brilliant new copy control routine, it works like a dream in development, but the moment you transport it to QA, it just fails completely. The problem isn't your code, it's that the system hasn't actually activated it yet.
Luckily, the fix is so simple once you know what it is. You just need to run the program RV8HGN in the target system. This program goes through and regenerates and activates all the custom formulas and routines you just transported. Honestly, this should be a standard step in your transport procedure for any VOFM change.
So, there you have it. We've gone through billing mysteries, master data traps, and some pretty deep technical fixes. You now have the diagnostic tools and the checklist to really take control of these common issues. So the only question left is, which of those recurring system glitches that's been bugging you is now at the very top of your list to go and solve for good?